Miss 4, and today we are getting ready. I wanted to take you along while I got ready for work. I don't have any Zooms today, but I'm going to be doing something that I think is scary, maybe several things, and so I want to bolster myself. So I'm putting on nice clothes, doing some makeup. I'm going to do a bold eye and a pale, semi-pale lip. And we're gonna see how that goes. I will try and keep you posted down below of what all is going on my face in case I forget to mention it. I'm gonna start out with some of the Laneige, the Sleeping Lip Mask in Mango, just to treat my lips a little bit as we're going along. I feel very dry today. It's been raining here in LA. So you'd think, you know, of course it's rainy, you should feel like moist and, you know, like a hothouse flower, but not so much. Very dry. So anyway, little mango. I had the pumpkin spice and the gingerbread and the mint, but I kind of have been feeling a little bit of that tug of spring, so I got the mango. So I've moisturized. I'm gonna do a little bit of powder foundation and then just go along. Try and keep it fairly light on the foundation side because I am feeling a little bit dry. I don't want to look, you know, like super old like the Crypt Keeper. You know, if I'm making that bold eye look. So I had wanted to approach this year with an honesty about what limits me. And, you know, probably 80% of the time I'm my limiting factor. I really admire those people that have the chutzpah, you know, they just, you know, not only just the fake it till you make it, but they like are bold. And it's always frustrating when they're bold and they're also idiots. But you see time and time again people succeeding, failing upwards even. And it's just because they're not afraid to do things. And those of us who are reasonable are like, well, of course I can't do that. It's not polite, or it's unreasonable, or, you know, they're all gonna laugh at you. And I had commented the other day on my Facebook the irony of, like, for stand-up comedians, like when you're a kid at first you're afraid everybody's gonna laugh at you, and then you go into comedy and you start feeling like you're afraid nobody's gonna laugh at you. But I feel like, you know, I'm not an idiot for the most part, but I could really use a dose of that, like, mindless confidence. That whole, like, we're just gonna be unafraid to fail and we're just gonna do stuff. And so I'm like, well, okay, fear. You know, it's not like the fear of you're running into a, you know, burning building. This is High School Musical. This is Colourpop playoffs. Cheeks. You know, nobody's ever gonna think that, like, that's my bravery when I talk about it. You know, this is little bravery. But I just feel like it's kind of a muscle, and what I've been trying to do is force myself through that whole carrot and stick mentality. You know, either I'm going to reward myself or I'm going to punish myself for doing things. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't generally work. I kind of shut down, and so you're back to square one as far as that goes. So, you know, the carrot and the stick, sometimes it'll work, but most of the time I'm like, well, just give me the carrot, you know. I deserve a carrot. And then sorry, I'm all froggy this morning. It's still early. But, you know, and then the punishment, it's like I don't want to feel shame and anger and frustration at myself. And it's always the question of, did I set myself up to win? Are the things around me to support me to do what I need to do? Or am I trying to do something and really not having the framework to do well? That I'm just not setting myself up to win. case in point, I decided I wanted to try and do at least 2 brave things a day. And my partner pointed out, he's like, you know, maybe you should just start with 1. Like, just, you know, like help yourself out there. Just start with 1 thing. And I'm like, well, okay, you might be right about that, because sometimes, you know, the fear, and again, it's not like it's fear of the burning building. It's, you know, fear that nothing will happen. That's my big one now, is that, you know, I have enough of those things where you try and put something out there and it's just a deadening silence, that it's like nothing will happen. And that's, you know, become kind of a fear. You'll do all this stuff and nothing will happen. And the other side of that is, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But in the moment, that fear is not reasonable. It's not reasonable at all. It's a little jerk. You know, so it's like, well, you know, not that they're all gonna laugh at you, but no one will notice you, and you're going to die in obscurity and float into oblivion. I don't know. Like none of that story makes any sense, really. But that's the thing about fear. It's not really always logical. And it's not like you are given the bravery or the energy like your child's trapped under a car and so you lift them off of it. It's more like a muscle. Like, if I'm trying to think about it logically and approach it like this, you know, I don't know that I was ever really taught how to be brave. It wasn't really encouraged. You know, when I grew up, the whole idea, you read it about in the stories and it's great, but like in your life, really the things that I was taught to do was to be, you know, quiet and unobtrusive and polite and, you know, all of those things, but also intelligent, but not too intelligent, you know, so it's getting in the way of things. So, you know, it's that whole, if I wasn't taught these things and I'm supposed to learn them, and how does one learn how to be brave? Well, you practice, you know, you start small and you work up to it, like you're weightlifting. You know, you don't think that you're gonna lift 300 pounds the first time out. That's how you get hurt. And then you don't do it again because you're like, weightlifting is hurtful and it hurts me, so I'm not gonna do it. So I'm trying to approach this like weightlifting. Like, that's what we're doing here. We're starting small. We're starting with little baby triumphs, baby wins. You know, I have 2-pound weights. That's what I've got right now, because that's what I've been able to do for a while. So like, we're just gonna try and keep that in mind, that like this is small stuff, but it feels big. It feels really insurmountable. Somewhere in my head it feels insurmountable. But I just really want to start that weightlifting kind of thing to try and move the needle forward, because I'm not currently moving forward as much or at all, and kind of got stalled by a little bit of the fear. I'm going to take the black and line this first and then do the color. So the thing being is that, like, I want to be brave. I want to do those things that I feel are necessary, because otherwise, if I don't do them, I'm just, to put it in the way my cardiologist, we've been cycling through a whole bunch of different blood pressure medicines, and he's really good as far as understanding that, like, I really don't get along with medication really well. So I know pretty quickly, like, if something's just not going to work. You know, and I got tired there for a minute, you know, like cycling through all this stuff. And he said, look, I understand, you know, we're gonna just take this and mark it down as something that doesn't work. But he's like, but we have to try. Because he says, I'm a doctor, and if I'm not trying, I'm not trying. And I thought about that for a while, and I'm like, kind of reminds me of me in a way, because that whole, like, if I'm not trying something, I'm just wishing, you know, and maybe that will work. Who knows? You know, like wish fulfillment, there is something to that, you know, but the idea that if I'm not trying, I'm not trying. And then the question is always, You know, you can see the problem. How do you fix it? You know, that's always the question with all of these things is, you know, what is the way that we're going to go about this? You know, I've been meaning to start my fashion plate palette roulette to be able to move through my collection, because the desire is there, the wish is there that I use more of the things in my collection. But then, you know, the stymied part is the how do you do that? And then with the how, you know, you're looking at these scenarios and you've got to start trying different ones. Like, you try one, it doesn't work, you know. And I've got a real big failure button that says you're not doing it right. Anymore, that's still in play for me, that you're not doing it right. And I'd like to try and get rid of all those, or at least lessen the effect of those buttons, of that, you know, the things that if somebody comes along and either gently taps it, you know, you go nuts, you lose it. So I'm trying to get rid of those. But always the strategy, you know, like, and to not be afraid to fail, whatever that means. And the idea that that's not, it's just the fact that your strategy didn't work, and have that not feel like, you know, it's ruined, it's all ruined, we're gonna die. Because that's what it starts, the fear starts hitting that, like, you know, old lizard brain, you know, we're gonna get kicked out of the village and we're gonna be eaten by wolves. So it's like, it's really a faux pas at a dinner party, but in your mind, part of it's going like, you're gonna be eaten by wolves. At least in my head. But I think a lot of people too. I think that's one thing that your fear does, is it really, you know, it's trying theoretically to protect you from death in whatever way it sees that's happening, social death, you know. But to be ruled by it, to not be able to put it down, to do the things that you need to do. Okay, I'm gonna start the colored part of this. Wish me luck. You know, so anyway, today I have a couple of options for the brave things that I would like to do. There's two that have been on my mind as of late. One of them, I need to compose an email at work for one of the new people that's taken over the department. I need to compose that because I am needing to express, you know, where I want to be as far as if I'm going to be continuing with the company, and how I think I can be of better use to the restructure of our department. So, you know, making waves, like, I haven't been afraid to like raise my hand and go, what are we doing here? But this more taking time, where it's not just a knee-jerk reaction, it's not just off the cuff, but I'm really trying to carefully think about what I want to say, and why I want to say it, and what value added. You know, I'm like, what value added am I going to be to this company, where it's not just me complaining. I'm going to be proactive and wanting to make a difference and be a good team member in that way, but I need help. So I need to enroll the help of this person. And if it doesn't work, that tells me something. You know, if they're not willing to be part, or to let me be part of making things better. And I have to believe that I have a viewpoint that is useful to what's going on in the company. And if I don't believe that, then, you know, what's the point? What's the point? But on the other personal note, for my writing, I have a project that I've been working on for a while, and I need to reach out to a manager who has read my work before, and was very helpful and complimentary. And I need him to look at my latest project. And it's hard because creatively, this is my baby. You know, like, this is you know, I have no children. Although we may soon be getting a dog. Don't know, but we may. But the idea is that I both am afraid of of critical response to my baby. You know, nobody wants to tell, you don't want to hear that your baby's ugly. You don't want to hear that your baby, you know, is suffering for, you know, they need a page 1 rewrite. I don't know what that is in baby terms, but you know. So the idea being that I'm both worried that my baby will be criticized. You know, I'm gonna be told the hard truth that my baby is ugly, and it's happened before. It's, you know, it's not that it doesn't happen. It happens all the time. Or not necessarily that your baby's ugly, but sometimes it's just like, oh, we'll get back to you, and again, deafening silence. So you're like, okay, something didn't work there, and you know, do I take it personally? Do I not take it personally? Trying to work with this one spot that I have a birthmark here that you can't really see all the time, and it doesn't take color. It's kind of like the mystery spot on my cheek that doesn't like to take color either. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this a little bit. So I'd like to send this, it's the equivalent of a cold call but in email form, to a person who's read me before, who knows and likes my work, but that I haven't had something that works for their production goals, but would probably read me again. And you know, it's one of those things that I need to just write the email and see if they're up for it, you know, and then not be taking it personally, like, you know, I'm a total failure if they don't want to read it, or if it doesn't sound like a project that's, you know, going to be workable for them. The thing with these colors is I want to make sure that I'm blending pretty good, because I feel like it can go terribly wrong when you're doing a dark look. I'm going to go under the eye with this deep teal again. So I just need to send the email. I need to be like, hey, remember me, you know, I want to send you something. But so those are the two things for me. And so probably I'll try and do one of those today. I will either send that email for work, or I might just start composing the email with the idea that I will be sending it, and that'll be my one brave thing for whatever day that is. And then just doing the email to the manager. And even now, just talking about it, I can feel the nervousness in my body. I can feel my body going, huh? Tense, oh no. You know, because somewhere in my wiring is feeling like you can hear the howl of the wolves. You know, like, there's no wolves, but you know, my body is like, oh, there's wolves. We're pretty sure there's wolves. Are you ready? You know? But so my body's feeling it. And the thing is, my body is going to feel that every time I think about it until I do it and it's done. And then I probably am going to have both terror and elation, which is going to be fun. That whole, like, you know, woohoo, I did a thing, and oh my god, I did a thing. So I know my body is going to feel it that way too. And I'd rather have it be for good things, you know. I'd rather have it for the manic reasons than the depressing reasons. Okay, we're gonna try and put this silvery sparkly in the water line, and then take a look. I think I might want to use a finger for applying some of this. Okay. But anyway, so that's gonna be my day, and I'm gonna be just working also. So I just wanted, you know, if makeup can be body armor, you know, and or inspirational art, I wanted that. I wanted my makeup to help me out with the doing of my brave thing today. And we'll see how it goes. You know, it's one of those things, sometimes you plan, you know, you think your day is going to go one way and it goes completely sideways and off the rails. So we don't know what we're getting into exactly, but that's the plan, at least, is to do the brave thing. And I'm just trying to be a little easier with myself, that idea of like, we're lifting weights. This is my one brave thing, is maybe a small thing, maybe not all that, you know, impactful in the end, but that's my 2-pound weight. I'm lifting weights, I'm lifting my Bravery weights. And the thing is, it's like, I'm trying not to mock myself for what I feel is brave, because I wouldn't do that to a kid. You know, like if I were a kid and I'm trying to learn how to do something, I'm starting something, you know, I'd be a real jerk if I was like, you're doing it wrong. You're not gonna survive. You're awful. What the hell? You know, like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to a friend. I wouldn't do it to anybody else. But I'm like more than happy to just like give myself all sorts of crap about things. Okay, I might want to do a finger for the green. I just want a deeper read. This could go very, very wrong. But again, should we not be afraid to fail? At least in our cosmetic endeavors. Okay. Just tapping a little bit of that. Because if I have to be perfect and not fail in my makeup application, which can be easily washed off, like I'm really like psyching myself out for other things. And it's just me being my own gatekeeper at that point in time. You know, like I'm just, the man is not keeping me down, and not male man, like in that sense, but you know, it's my own fears getting in the way of things. So, all right, this is the black Jaguar palette. Super cute. So probably one of the most, you know, impactful sort of things from Chantecaille. I am missing a mascara. So hold that thought. Be right back. Okay, so we have mascara. The things we forget. So anyway, that's a really long story, made much longer by all the side adventures. But that's where I'm at today. Just trying to do small things and build my Bravery muscles. Because I don't necessarily, I've done some things that one might consider brave, but you know, I'm always looking for that, you know, have I gotten to where I want to be yet? Do I need to be, you know, more fearless in what I'm doing? And the answer is generally yes. And again, I'm not trying to compare myself to people who every day, you know, conquer all sorts of big things. You know, I'm not walking into any fiery buildings over and over. I'm not saving people's lives. I'm making some art, and hopefully that might save a person's life, but in a very different way. I think it's funny, Bruce Weigel has a poem called What Saves Us? And it's, you know, before he's going to Vietnam and what he thinks is going to save him and what actually kind of does. But I think about that often because I was walking down the street at one point in time and I overheard a conversation between two women as they were walking by, and what I heard was Pinkie Pie saved my marriage. That's what I heard. And, you know, I always think about that. It's like, how did that work? I wanted to stop the, you know, like go chasing after the woman down the street and go, how did it work? What was going on? But like, you know, thinking about what saves us and what inspires us. Like, I know getting through grad school, that was seeing a warrior princess for me. And I'm not joking about that. You know, that's like, I went to therapy too, mind you. But like, you know, and then this is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the pink Chic pink. And so, you know, I think about that often as the what saves us, and sometimes it's not what you would think, but so for me, I like to think of, you know, the little things that help people get by, or the things that inspire you, or the things that let you know that you can be a good person rather than an evil person. Okay, so I need to take some powder and zhuzh my cheeks a bit. Been having just issues with some of my cheek color and things not blending as much as I want it to, and I think it's just the condition of my skin and the fact that things are weird and patchy and dry. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my powder again and just tap it. Okay, so I think that's the look. I think we're gonna stop there. Also, so I'm not dragging my feet and not doing my brave thing and going to work. But anyway, so this is my hair's still a little wet this morning, so all right, so I think this is it. Again, we could darken the cheek. My glasses tend to soften down or make it where the eye look isn't as deep. This is what. Okay, so let me know how you're doing. If you have some brave things you need to be doing. Also, definitely check out the Bruce Weigel poem. I'll try and link that below because it's pretty cool. And think about how Pinkie Pie can save your marriage. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. Hope you are out there trying to do new things, trying to do some little baby weightlifting with whatever you're working on. And we shall see you in the next video. Bye.